Bone-chilling matchups and monstrous performances left Rivalry Week exercising its demons. Let's break it down and look ahead. That stuff. And honestly, some of the new designs. The black and the Saints.
So officially giving up on Taysom Hill, I'm sorry. Welcome to the Chuck and Dave Pod.
I'm Chuck.
I'm Dave.
And this is the pod.
This is. Sorry about the technical difficulties there for a second. You know, I just seem to be happening more and more lately.
Perhaps we were haunted.
Ooh, it is spooky.
It
is spooky.
Happy Halloween.
And late Halloween, but yes,
Halloween
nonetheless. All Saints Day. There you go. Reformation Sunday coming up.
Who is that?
Sorry to all of our Catholics out there.
Did not realize that those lined up together.
I think Reformation Sunday is the first Sunday in November, so it would be this coming Sunday.
All right.
Yeah. So, I just listened to that intro and realized that I said I was giving up on Taysom Hill, and how history has repeated itself.
Well, hey, now it's a new year, and he's been on fire lately.
He's a different guy.
You know, it's a new quarterback he's working with.
Yeah.
It's honestly, there's a reason he never goes anywhere. He's held on through two different coaching things, and he just, nobody else really needs a Swiss Army player, but he just keeps going. There were times last year where it was like, what should we call him? And people thought it was unfair that he was being considered a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And,
he was like a tight end QB. Like,
I think you could do either one. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I think he's strictly like tight end. I don't know if I can even put him in.
You can't box in Taysom Hill. He will be in the Hall of Fame.
I am not allowed to put him in the quarterback position anymore. So,
you know what?
Some reason I'm able to put him in as kicker. No, I'm just kidding.
I would like to talk to the commissioner. I think we should do away with labels, and you can just put any player, any.
You want seven quarterbacks? Go ahead.
Any player you want, you just put them in. We don't need defense and kickers and quarterbacks. You just load them all up.
Would it behoove somebody then just to draft heavy all the quarterbacks? Man, that would throw everybody's draft away.
I don't know that there are 7 quarterbacks that could beat an otherwise balanced team.
And I would never take a tight end unless you have Travis Kelce, and I'd never take probably a defense because it's just too much.
I'll tell you what, Travis Kelce obviously has been number 1, but Hawkinson has not been far behind.
No, he hasn't been playing poorly. Do you think he'll play just as well without Kirk Cousins, though?
It's a big question mark there for everybody really there. I think Addison's been doing pretty well as well, but now if it becomes more run heavy, I mean, Joshua Dobbs isn't terrible.
Well, but I mean, they're not going to be able to probably start him for
not this
a little
week.
Bit left yet.
I would guess they'd put him out next week, though.
Yeah, maybe.
And Diggs or Jefferson will get back, and he's dependent on his quarterback, obviously, but he'll give him a better target to throw to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting question mark. But the NFC North is certainly looking good to the Lions.
It is looking like a wide open foot race now. It's like they just have to keep. If they just win a few more, it's almost like it's guaranteed at this point.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't even call it a foot race. It would be hard for one of the other. The Lions would have to melt down, and someone else would have to actually start doing something.
Yeah, that is very true.
Compared to the Bears or the Vikings, I don't really look at the Lions the same way. I don't look at them as quite the rival, like this hated rival, as I would the Vikings or the Bears.
No.
They're like the little brother who just wants to.
If the Lions make the playoffs, I will probably root for them. I mean, I shouldn't say if. When the Lions make the playoffs, I will root for them.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to root for 49ers. I'm not going to root for Cowboys. I really don't know if I want to root for the Eagles.
I'm all right with the Eagles. I'm not a big fan of the 49ers. And I got a bad taste of the Cowboys in my mouth growing up. So
it is true.
And hey, the Titans were the Oilers throwbacks this last
week. Yeah, I saw that. Oh man, it was great.
They should just become the Oilers.
I know.
Like they should not have changed their name.
Just become the Oilers.
Again. Yeah. Why the Titans? You don't it has nothing to do with Nashville.
Yeah.
No Titans there.
Yeah.
She just kept their name. I just noticed the spooky writing for our names too.
Though. I know. It's in chiller font or whatever. I don't know.
Look at this guy here.
Some font.
You should put credits at the end and be like produced by.
I mean, I don't know what Alex you're definitely agreeing to, but
it's got to be the Oilers.
He's got probably the Oilers. Yeah, that's the Oilers comment.
You know, I'm glad that we could finally find some common ground with Alex.
I know.
Yeah, I feel we
agree with him on the Oilers.
Mm-hmm. There's so many things that we go back and forth on. You know, I was hoping to get him earlier today, getting him scared that just some random player would get dropped. Apparently,
I beat you to it. I was being the straight man. You should have
I
commented too quickly.
When I'm at school, sometimes my comments don't go through.
Yeah,
because of
same thing. Same as
I have to turn off the guest internet and.
Yeah, me too. I pretty much, if I want to ask, or if I want to access my fantasy team, or if I want to access Discord, I have to go on data. I cannot be on.
I can get this, like people sending stuff into Discord. I'll get. So
yes.
There's multiple times where I've like responded and I'm like, why is nobody talking back? And then like that night I see it, it's like failed to upload. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I had the exact same thing. It'll pop up, the notifications will pop up, but once I start typing, it's just like grayed out.
Yeah. So
and it just has this.
Just so everybody out there knows, there have been some big one-liners that you've missed out on.
It's okay.
We'll get there. What do you got on your board today, Dave?
Well, I got wrong hand. So I got what I got up on the trade block. If anybody wants that, I am willing to trade Taysom Hill. Money. I'll just give you money. Fergal is also on the trade block if you'd like that. And then this is a little bit of a kind of metaphor for what I will be doing soon.
Just Hail Mary?
Hail Mary, baby. It's a Hail Mary part of the season.
It's the Hail Mary. Leave it all out there.
Well, so like I'm only, if you think about it, I'm legitimately one win away from third place.
You're right in there. Yeah, it's really tight right now in the running. You got the top two teams ahead by 2 games.
Yeah.
And then it's 4-4, 4-4, 4-4, 3-5, 3-5.
Yeah.
Very, very tight. And honestly, you're only not in the playoffs by a tiebreaker.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not, but I need to start kind of pushing the envelope here, you know.
I would say so. I think you need to go for some of these new quarterbacks. Maybe whoever who did I see right now is going to be starting somewhere? Oh, the guy at the Raiders. O'Kane or something.
Yeah. See, the thing is I have what should be a great quarterback. Lamar Jackson is a dual threat quarterback. He should get rushing yards. He should get rushing touchdowns. He should get passing yards and passing touchdowns. Like it should be all upside. And they score 31 points against Arizona. And he has 150 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and 17 rush yards. So what did he even do back there all game? Like, did he do nothing?
I always hate it when a team scores a ton, but the quarterback got you nothing.
Like, I just don't get it. I do not get it.
I think I remember during the third quarter, an ice cream truck went by, and I think he zipped out.
And he zipped out. And that's what I thought. I just have no idea. It must have been. You know, I'm getting sick of clicking on the expand the stats on my players, and it almost always says, no lie, modest numbers in week 7, in week 8, in week 9. That's what it says. Modest numbers. You know what that translates to? Like 7 points
per quarterback.
No, for every single player.
What is? I've never seen this thing where you.
I just clicked on Lamar Jackson. Modest numbers in week 8 win.
So you just click on their name.
No, you got to click on the little
box.
The little box next to it.
Where does it say modest? I've never seen it say modest numbers.
It gives like a little explanation of the week prior.
Oh, really? I don't have that. It just has for me. It has the whole season and all of their projected points, their actual points, who they're playing next, what their stats were.
No, you look all mine.
Or are you on the app?
No, I'm not on the app.
Yeah, mine just gives me like a little breakdown, little blurb on the side.
I'll trade you a keeper for a heavy hitter. What was your keeper?
His keeper was ETN, wasn't it?
No, his keeper was CeeDee Lamb. I'll trade for ETN though, Alex. For sure, dude. I'll trade you Dameon Pierce, my keeper, for ETN.
Can you trade your keeper?
Yeah, you can't. There are certain people that you're not allowed to cut, but I think you can trade.
Oh, okay.
You can have DJ Moore, and I'll trade you DJ Moore for ETN right now.
As soon as you get rid of DJ Moore, he's going to
start exploding off. I know.
Is Fields back this week?
I don't know.
Moore should be good.
I'll give you a Chris Olave. I'll give you Zach Moss and DJ Moore for ETN.
Moss did great last week.
I know, but how long is he going to keep you up? No, I mean, I'll trade you a player that you can keep for next year. What? I'm not in sell mode, Alex. I'm not the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I mean, it would have to be a good player in order for you to want to keep him next year.
Lamar for ETN?
You do have Purdy.
See, now you're tickling the.
Well, that's an interesting. You
should put that on the funny bone there.
Pop that on the screen.
Yeah, you would take Lamar Jackson. Ooh, look at that, spooky.
Lamar for ETN.
I would like the guy who voices the Thriller, the end of the Thriller, to like just.
Mm-hmm.
Dictate every single one of need a
BQ.
Well, I need some barbecue too. But
maybe we should have a barbecue themed week.
Ooh, a barbecue themed week. Anyway,
got Dak Prescott.
He just picked up Dak. I mean, granted, you
might want to take him up on that trade. ETN could be a game changer for you.
Oh, I know ETN would be a game changer, and
if there's any player you have a man crush on, it was Olave and Pierce, but ETN was right there.
So Pierce, I didn't have a man crush on. He was a good pickup middle of the season. Yeah, ETN, I have a huge man crush on because he legitimately. He was a low stock, so people did not expect him to be a heavy hitter, and he's become one. I picked up Austin Eckler instead of ETN because I thought maybe I could pick him up later, but then Alex got him.
Beware of Alex.
Okay.
Well, yes. Let's get into it. We had rivalry week.
We did have rivalry week.
It was.
It's less of I shouldn't say when I put in the notes, Chuck, when I said that it's not really a nail biter, I meant more of it's less of a nail biter than the week before where it was 2 or 3 games were coming down to Sunday night or Monday night where you're sitting there watching the game and just watching the ticker move up. I didn't have that feeling this week.
I mean, I was watching your and Kara's game pretty closely for a while until it seemed well, what the heck is going on here? Yeah. And then obviously the Bulldogs started pulling away pretty far, and it wasn't going to happen. At that point, what I was mostly watching for Jordan was that he would lose enough not score enough so that I would have the second highest score of the week.
Yeah.
And I did get it. So just trying to do that.
Well,
but we did have there were no upsets this week. Every game went as Yahoo had predicted it to go.
Interesting.
Which is something there. And then actually compared to week 1, which this is a rematch of, 2 of the games went the same way and 2 of the games swapped roles.
Huh.
So pretty tame there. Alex is undefeated against Sam.
Undefeated against Sam. That's insane.
All right.
All right. Well, let's start off with the heartbreak one. That's mine. Just because I got it pulled up. So
Fergal's gobble up the McRibs.
Fergal's gobbling up the McRibs.
I wrote that was as fun as watching paint dry.
It was awful game.
It was, going into Monday night, it was close, but it was very underwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
The Fergals fell right back to where they had been in the beginning of the year with some awful performances. The Pleasures almost set the low point of the year, but I think missed it by 0.4 when you said it 3 weeks ago. So
my not being able to break 100 woes continue.
It continues. You've now gone 5 weeks in a row. I should go back and look what the longest stretch sub 100 is. Look out for that on the discourse. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, write it down.
Probably good.
You can't go back too far back because if you remember, we've looked at scores from like way back in the day and where no one broke 100. It was always
you can't go back into the NFL days. .com days. I don't know if you saw the stat I threw out on Discord where I was kind of trying to get some records together for the all-time back to 2016.
Yeah.
And everybody who played during the NFL.com has no chance against those who haven't when it comes to average yearly score because it's a big old lead ball.
Yeah.
Dragging you down. And that's why Rich is actually the current highest average scoring player we've ever had.
That's insane.
So I'm guessing Alex will break that, but those stats are just worth a grain of salt. Anyway, there was no reason for the McRibs to lose this game. All you needed was Jacoby Myers to get 1 touchdown or get 5 receptions. And you were going to win. And obviously Mike Davis was also upset with how that game went and fired and benched everybody involved in the Raiders game. But yeah, I just kept looking at it. I was looking at, I think Jordan's too, and Devontae Adams doing, I'm like, what is going on here? And I'd look at the little stat line and it was just Jimmy Garoppolo was 4 completed passes. And it's what is this?
Yeah, that was a rough one. I really wasn't watching the game at all, but I was but I started to slowly, I looked at the projections and I kind of saw hers creep up. And then Kara walked into the room and was like, hey, I'm projected to beat you now. And I'm like, what? And I looked, Jacoby Myers was projected way less. And it was almost halftime. And it was just, it was Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't really even score that much after the first or second quarter. He got his 12 points and then just stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And
didn't matter.
All I needed was Jacoby Myers to do a little bit in the second half.
A touchdown and you.
But to be fair, I should say all I needed was Jimmy Garoppolo to do something in the second half. He just screwed me, man. Yeah,
it was tough to watch. I thought, the Fergals got away with one here.
Yeah.
This is only the second time this year that the 7th and 8th highest scoring teams played each other. The first time was week 1 when the Polecats played the Jackals and you had the 2 lowest scoring teams against each other. So it doesn't happen very often. And sometimes someone gets lucky. However, on the bright side, that Butker trade.
Man, it is helping in spades.
Yes, Butker is paying off.
I've had him for 2 weeks now, and he's probably averaged more per game than most of my other players.
He's probably your most valuable player over the past.
He may be my keeper at the end of this. I'll just really invest.
Yeah. He's what you got. Eckler actually had some action.
He had a good game.
Wasn't a monster
really good game.
It was very good, very solid.
I mean, 18 points. That's a pretty solid showing for a running back.
That is very. I'm not taking anything away from him. The Fergals, again, they got away with it. They can't afford too many more games of this. They're not playing the McRibs every week, after all. So we'll see if Patrick Mahomes can put it back together. That's pretty much what I have here. Both teams.
Alex says he's wrong about the Butker trade. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. My GM over here isn't amazing, but we tend to, when we scout somebody out, we scout somebody outright.
We scout that person outright. I would like that to be on a shirt. When we scout someone out, we scout them outright.
Good.
Let's see. Both teams here stayed pat as far as their playoff positioning. A win from you would have put you in the playoffs currently. It would have topped you ahead of the White Lightnings. They stay seventh. They both stay. They're both very much alive in the contest here. Nobody's locked in. I think if either Alex or I win this week and Kara loses, then she's eliminated from the top seed chance. But that would be, I still think she's technically mathematically capable of getting that one.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe not, since Alex and I have to play each other and somebody has to win that game. But
it's true.
But yeah, that was a forgettable game. That's when you're going to bury that game ball and move on.
Yep.
The one you want.
I'm just rolling down the list here. Let's do Tharsis Jackals and the Poning Polecats.
All right, and here we actually have
Polecats pwned the Jackals.
We did. Yeah, we did. It was good to see. I thought it was going to be pretty bad at first.
Because you saw your bench points?
I saw the bench points, and I saw some things that weren't going right for me, but things, they didn't hurt as bad as I thought they were going to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what I think. I don't remember exactly what it was. There was something in the beginning I was like watching. I think Nakua not doing well scared me a little bit. And then the fact that I finally put Thielen in, and he scored 11, which isn't bad, but he had been scoring like 20. Meanwhile, I would never have guessed Hopkins scoring 34. He's topped 10 points like once this year. Gabe Davis, I don't even know why I'm on the team, because he's just going to make me sad. Like, look at, he scored 1 and then 1 and then 19.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't put that guy in unless you're Alex.
Yeah.
You can't put that guy.
If you're Alex, put this guy in right now.
Yeah. This was a reversal of week 1. The Jackals topped me in week 1. I topped them in week 2. And that really, it just kind of defines the Josh Charlie competition that we've had. We are now both 7-7 all time, including 1-1 in the playoffs. So we are perfectly even as we continue to barrel forward here. We just can't get an edge over each other.
It's a good rivalry.
It's a good rivalry. It'll stay. I think that one has to stay. We might talk about moving some of the others next year, but I think that one will have to stay the same. We each struggled from the Rams thing. I had Nakua, he had Cup, so both did poorly, but it just kind of washed each other out. Kamara really helped me out, and the Seattle defense did pretty well. I think for Josh, Pittman might be someone he should start considering. I feel like Pittman's had a number of strong performances on Josh's bench, and yet continue.
Josh, you want to trade Pittman? I'll trade for Pittman. I mean, yeah, dude, he's only had 2 sub-10. You're not using him, man. I will trade you.
He's got 15, 15, and 16. That's solid.
Josh always the positive. Josh, I will trade you because he's going to need a running back. I'll trade you Chris Olave, man. I'm parting with Chris Olave.
Ooh.
A bench guy for a bench guy.
Bench for bench. Bench for bench. That's a fair trade. The Polecats are back in platinum. I know that you guys were all worried about me losing that last week, but we are back. The points against record is unfortunately crumbling around me. We were in such a great pace to begin with, but it's no longer on pace to defeat Josh's record. So we have to do some work to get that back there. Yeah. The Polecats are able to keep pace with the Destroyers in the second seed. We lost a lot of points because the Destroyers had a massive week.
Yeah.
But we're still tied, at least, with the record. Meanwhile, the Jackals fell back to 4th and are 4-4 now, getting passed by the Bulldogs. So,
Josh, you got Pittman on the bench. He's basically a non-factor.
I think he's just asking everybody's opinion on if it's fair, and I say yes.
I mean, I need help. You need help. No, you don't really need help, but you just got some guys sitting there doing nothing. I mean, you're probably going to bench Cooper Kupp. He hasn't been doing anything for ever. So, I mean, he's pretty much junk.
If you want Gabe Davis or Hopkins, I'd trade you.
How about I'll trade for Ichaney.
Well, you're still because the ratings are based on your last 2 years' performances. And since you don't have 2 years yet, I don't know how it starts you with. I'm assuming in high bronze or something like that. If you do obviously well the rest of this year and then next year pick up and do well and you have 2 good years in a row, that's how you can get close to platinum. I had an exceptionally good year last year, and that's what I'm kind of riding off of right now. Dave would have been really high in his 2 championship years as well.
Yeah, I got gold. I was in gold.
High gold. And honestly, Josh is only 40 points away from platinum himself, I think. So, but it's tough. You can't all be the Polecats. I'm sorry.
Can't all be the Polecats.
Often imitated, never duplicated. That's the Polecats. All right, what's the next one?
All right, let's go down. The Bulldogs lapped up the White Lightning.
And in doing so, the Bulldogs swept the White Lightnings this year, 2-0.
Wow.
So hoping to bring that rivalry a little closer together for them. Still pretty much in Jordan's favor, but the Bulldogs brought out the big guns.
Definitely we're in preseason form. Basically, yes. what the algorithms thought that he was going to be doing every week,
and pretty much what we thought he was going to be doing at the beginning of the year, because he started the year pretty hot, 132, 130, the 98, and then 129. So now he comes back and picks up his highest score of the year on the strength of Burrow, Chase, Smith, and Gibbs getting him a lot of points, plus Hawkinson and Addison there. He had an awful lot of points. He didn't even need to have big Dallas D on his
Dallas D.
What?
Oh, man.
That would have been terrific scoring there had he had them on. 11 more points. He would have topped Alex for the highest score of the week.
Yeah.
But, and this fits the Halloween atmosphere a little bit, the Dallas defense will decide his fate regardless if he starts them or not. He could probably drop them and he will still only win or lose based on their performance.
I think that's true.
I think he will be haunted by the Dallas D for the rest of the year.
Haunted by the Dallas defense.
We could try it out and trade me the Dallas D.
Yeah. I mean, I think unfortunately it seems it looked like Tyler Lockett has started to improve on his team.
Lockett was definitely a poor bench that time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's kind of up and down. I don't know who he
it's he left.
Who would you want to? Yeah, who would you want to trade
nobody
out?
Else was bad. Yeah, he had a monster week up there. No real downsides other than Pollard, I guess.
Yeah,
having a low showing there. Meanwhile, the White Lightning's at 121 is not a bad score, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, most of the time, if you can get into 120 and Todd's not here, so we can say that, you're probably going to have a good chance to win. It is a 4-game losing streak. I believe I said last week he's got 1 5-game losing streak back in 2018 or something like that. So he could be looking at
tying that.
Some getting back to that. I mean, his big problem, though, is Devontae Adams is a huge problem. He keeps doing Adams, and Adams keeps scoring nothing.
I mean, it's just so crazy. Like what I would find it so hard week to week to like make the decision to be like, oh, Devontae Adams is going to be like playing, but he's not on a bye or not injured, but I'm going to bench him. Like it just doesn't. You can't not
bench him.
He could score 30.
He's got a 1, a 9, a 3, and a 6.
Yeah.
He's only scored over 20 points once, week 3.
I mean, now though, do you keep him in just because of the rookie quarterback and possibly a new play caller?
Sometimes you get in a rookie quarterback and they find someone else who becomes their guy. And sometimes it is the one that was the guy, and sometimes it's some random guy that just kind of takes over and gets a lot out of it. And I think that might have been what happened to Hopkins this week. Is Tannehill was gone, and they put in their rookie, and Hopkins was just the guy that he connected with. We saw things like that happen sometimes. So it's hard to tell. Maybe you roll the dice with Adams next week. If he's got, McLaurin might be a better option.
Yeah.
He's certainly averaging better the last several weeks, but it's hard. How do you bench somebody who's supposed to be that good?
Yep. I think Gus Edwards is a good, I would say he'd be somebody you may want to possibly put in.
Gus Edwards is doing what you would like Lamar to be doing.
And exactly. And again, Jordan, you have a bench spot. Like, I know he's not going to watch this because he's horrible at watching the podcast and he's asleep probably by now. But, Jordan, you have a bench spot. I don't even know why you would keep Anthony Richardson on IR. That sounds not like nonsense.
Well, I'm sure he's planning on making him his keeper next year.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, just a tough loss for them because they really did bounce back score-wise this week. They'd been sub 100 for 2 weeks. They pop off the second highest score of the year for the White Lightnings, and yet come up short with that. And that 4-game loss streaks drops them down to where in the standings now? I think right on the bubble, 6th. Yeah, just beating you by a tiebreaker with points. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs shoot up to the second highest points scored now again, and are right there in third place right now.
He's a scary team. I think he has a lot of potential.
They're a bit up and down, but they certainly have the ability to wreck some things. And that's, if you get to the playoffs, you just need that to happen.
Yeah.
So we will see. All
right, last game.
The Destroyers and the Nincompoops, who are now still the Nemoidian Nincompoops.
Those Destroyers take over the North Shore. Well, I guess if they're Nemoidians now, they just attack the Trade Federation. I don't know.
They're still the North Shore in our hearts.
They're still North Shore. Yeah, this is a big blowout.
Yeah, a huge blowout. The Destroyers sweep the Nincompoops this year, 2-0. They set the second highest score of the year in general. They were close. If Zay Flowers would have had a little more, they might have been able to, because I think 158 is the highest score of the year. So very, very close there. I guess, Godwin had been in, or Laporta. He's got some good tight ends. If you're looking for someone to fill up some points, maybe trading for Laporta, because I don't think he's going to start 2 tight ends very often. And Laporta's a little more up and down, but he can certainly put up some big numbers.
Better. Okay, so
he's not,
considering all my tight ends that I've started have been all down. I mean, that's why I picked up Taysom Hill. I mean, if you think about it, I've been Taysom Hill gets like quoted out, or his projections are like 2 points a game or 2.5 points a game. But that's what my tight ends have been scoring right now. It's 2.5 points a game.
I was shocked when I saw his projection that low. I'm like, last 2 weeks he scored like 15 and 20, and you're projecting it.
I think he's such a wild card on whether or not like they'll even use him on a week-to-week basis. That it's just like you don't know. Like if all of a sudden the game plan doesn't include Taysom Hill, it's like he's going to score 0 points.
He's boom or bust. The epitome of boom or bust.
I think he's on an upward trajectory. Now, I think Alex called me out for point chasing, but I'm like, dude,
I don't think Alex understands the definition.
No, he doesn't. He thinks that if anybody grabs anybody who did anything the week before, I'm talking about like point chasing is when somebody has done nothing all year, he scores 31 points, and you pick him up because you think he's gonna. Because if you're gonna call scoring 31 points,
if you're gonna call going after someone who's now starting to show a trend of high scoring, then yes, we all point chase because that's kind of the point of the game is to pick up those players. So now 2 weeks isn't necessarily enough to tell for Hill. He certainly could plummet back down. But facetious.
Well, yeah.
We need to use that word more.
Well, I couldn't tell from Discord, Alex, although you do use a lot of LOLs and winky places like you're from Generation Z. Yeah, so it's
well, back to this game. The Nincompoops posted the highest score they've had in 3 weeks. They topped 100 finally, but they still lost their 4-game win streak. It was just total domination, as we said, by the Destroyers. Everything went right, even with a quarterback getting injured in the game. Everything went really well. Tucker continues to perform for him because apparently he likes his new boss. I did do a little bit of research here because we talk about how Alex has been constantly rotating players, but the only starters he has that weren't drafted by him are the Kansas City defense, Justin Tucker, and Kirk Cousins. Everybody else he drafted. And on his bench, he has Ford, Foreman, and Laporta. And obviously Cousins won't be his starter anymore, but I was expecting to see a lot more waiver starters going on there. So I guess he must mostly just rotate the same players, the same positions, and just trying to find that mix, I guess. And I have to say, the Nincompoops were not going to win regardless of how they switch things out. But Carlson is the 32nd ranked kicker, and there are at least 6 in the top 10 available. Why are you starting Carlson still? Like, I looked at some records on there, the record thing. Sam is on pace to score the least kicker points in a year ever. And he's cool with it. He's just cool with it. There are tons of literally any other kicker would be an upgrade, but he's going to ride by his man.
It's dedication, man.
The dedication. The only one he's ahead of is the guy that the Rams just finally started this week. And I'm sure he'll pass him soon. So it's just very interesting to see that. The Destroyers extended their tiebreaker on the first seed here. They're now on a 4-game win streak of their own. If they win this week, they will tie the Polecats for the longest win streak of the year so far at 5. And the Nincompoops slipped down to 5th in the mire of 4-4.
Not great.
Teams. Not great. You should try Boswell. He could try anybody. He could put some high school kicker on his team and he'd do better than he's doing with Carlson. So that's our rivalry week.
Yeah, it was
always fun, a very arbitrary thing that Yahoo decided to throw in last year. And so I've got a couple of stats here that I decided to look up this week. average margin of victory for the year. And we're going to get to that, Josh. The smallest average margin of victory. Now, these are always a little bit whatever because you only get an average victory when you win. So if we've had in the past, I think Todd, one of the years, had the highest average victory because he only won 2 games, but they were like massive blowouts somehow. So he had this like extremely high win streak. But anyway, he currently has the smallest average margin of defeat. Sorry, only 13 points when he loses is his average. Whereas the McRibs have the largest average margin of defeat, generally losing by 27 points when you lose. Meanwhile, on the victory side, the McRibs also have the smallest margin of victory at only 8 points when they win. And the Doge Destroyers have the largest average margin of victory, on average winning by 26 points when they do so. So we've got some big ones there. Another interesting tidbit I found was that the Bulldogs' defensive points is currently on track to set the record for most scored points in a year. And he probably would be even farther along if he just started Dallas every time. For the love of all things, Dave, pick me. This could be the week. Keep it steady.
Gotta keep it steady. Josh, I'm not sure if, I've already done a lot in my Hail Mary. We'll see. I don't know. Not sure. I really have to start picking opposite you in general, though, because I am falling very, very behind in the pick'ems.
Pick opposite him. I mean, picking for him or against him, he's 4-4. So if you did the same thing every week, you're going to be 4-4 with him.
Exactly. So
here's my last stat, and we'll give you a guess here. Just absolutely no meaning in this stat, but total medal counts for Yahoo medals. Who do you think has the most medals?
That's because you get medals for.
You can get medals for all
different things.
You get medals for good performances, bad performances. You can get medals for just changing a player out. You can still pick, Alex. We have not finished yet.
No, he's talking about last week. He forgot to pick.
Oh.
Yes, you did. And you're still in like a very manageable third place. It's probably somebody weird. I'm assuming like my dad, like Todd has the most medals or something like that.
Todd is third.
Oh, okay.
The medal leader is Josh with 22 medals right now.
Interesting how the person who creates the league, sets the standards, also has the most medals.
He's just picking new medals. Like, okay, that's a new medal. That's a good one.
He looked at all the medals before he started the stats sheets and went, okay, I'm changing it. Not a lot of medals for QBs. A lot of medals for kicking yardage.
Medal for having someone pick against you every week.
Yeah.
I'm in second with 20. Todd has 19. Alex 17. Sam 16. Kara 14. You have 13. And Jordan has the least with only 11 medals.
11 medals. Yikes.
So he's going to need to buy a smaller trophy case.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So those are just some interesting. I didn't have any sort of big stats this week, but
interesting medals.
There.
It is a meaningless stat.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll get a certificate at the end of the year for it.
Yeah, most medals. That's a new one.
Most medals. Heavy metal.
Oh. All right.
There we go.
Can't give away too much now.
Sorry. We'll wait for the end of the year awards show.
Yeah.
All right. So what else we got going on here? We're running just on Patreon this week, huh?
Yeah.
I gotta say, not officially sponsored, but I am curious to try out Factor.
What's Factor?
It's like the new food thing that everybody has as their sponsor. It used to always be HelloFresh, but now it's Factor because Factor comes to you and you don't even have to chop it up and cook it. It's basically a TV dinner. That's what's made.
Factor 75.
Apparently, it's healthier. So when you don't want to cook, you get Factor. When you do want to cook, but you don't want to think about it, you get HelloFresh.
I've tried HelloFresh. I loved it. It was fun. The nice thing about HelloFresh or something like HelloFresh or Factor, and I'm going to reiterate this. This is not a sponsor. We were just going off on this insane tangent. The nice thing about like a HelloFresh or Blue Apron or whatever is not thinking. I think I was talking to Sam about this on the way up to camping, but it was like the idea that like you don't have to think about what you're gonna have for dinner that night.
No,
it's like
the whole point.
Like that's the biggest. That no matter like I don't care about cooking. I don't care about that. Just tell me what you want me to cook. But like it's so hard to like sometimes come up with something you want to eat.
I tell Andrew all the time, if you just tell me what you want for dinner every night,
I will cook it for you every night.
I'm fine.
Like I rack my brain between like 3 o'clock or like on my drive home from like 3 to 3:30 about like what.
Well, you need Factor, Alex, because you don't.
Yeah, you need Factor 75. You can get 50% off plus 20% off your next 4 boxes
if you use the promo code Chuck and Dave.
It's like error.
We'll have to try some. All right. Well, before we start giving away too much business to them without being paid ourselves, let's look at next week. We have a week. No special this week. Just a normal week where only 6 weeks left for 2 unlucky teams and 8 weeks left or 9 weeks left for everybody. I guess it's only 8 weeks for the 2 bye teams as well. So you got all the weird things going on. But things are starting to come into, we've got the battle for the playoffs, but things get a little bit more clear every week. So where do you want to start?
Let's see what the Pick'ems has.
Oh, yeah. Tell us how we did last week. Let's start with that.
Oh, okay. So, Chuck, you got all 4 correct.
Oh, nice.
Wish I had a little sound bite to do. Ding, 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 ding.
A bell or something, but I do not.
So Chuck got the only person to get all 4 correct. Jordan, Todd, and Alex and Sam got none correct because they didn't pick. Jordan and Josh both split with 2 and 2. I got Kara and Josh split with 2 and 2, and I got 3 and 1.
Hey, pretty good.
Yeah, so I made some headway. I'm now tied for 4th place. Josh is still holding a very slim lead in the Pick'ems at 20 correct. Chuck, you now have 19.
Oh, right there.
I know. Alex, you still have 14. And Kara and I have 12. And then obviously Todd has 7, Jordan has 5, and Sam is winning the lowest spot with 0 of 28. Correct.
I find that if you don't have any expectations, then you can't disappoint yourself. I think that's what he's doing there. I've also extended my lead in the Pro Pick'em over Josh. I think I'm now 2 games ahead. I got 11 right last week, and he got 10. So I'm coming for you, Josh. I'm coming.
To be honest, I think I forgot to do my Pro Pick'ems last week. So darn it.
It's basically me and Josh right now.
I know.
I just get it because every Wednesday I get an email from Yahoo that's like, set your Pro Pick'ems, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it right now.
Yeah.
But yes, let's look ahead to next week.
All right. Well, let's start with Sam because they're the first one on my Pro Pick'em sheet. Let's do the Nemoidian Nincompoops versus the Poning Polecats.
We got 6 and 2 against 4 and 4. These 2 teams met each other in week 2, and the Polecats won 119 to 85. I believe got the biggest blowout that week. The Nincompoops are both holding on to 2 defense all year that had the same bye.
Same bye. Yep.
Can they spoil their perfect 0 waiver moves?
I was going to say the same thing. He's got that little dash on moves. He's going to have to make a move.
He can leave it open.
Could try to win the whole thing without a defense.
He could leave it open. Maybe he needs to talk to try to swing a trade instead of a waiver claim.
Technically here, he has no tight end that could play. Although Darren Waller, is he? Oh, he's out weeks. That's a bummer. So he's going to have to get rid of a tight end. He has to do a defense, which he does not have people that can go in for either of those.
I would love to see him just trade for those two positions and keep his waiver moves 0.
Does trades count as moves though?
Does it as a waiver move? Because he didn't go to the waivers.
No, but it's moves in general. So even if you're in,
is that what it's called?
I think it's moves in general.
It says, yeah, you're right. It does say moves. Okay.
I'm curious what.
I'm not sure about that. I guess we should have seen when your trade went through if it popped up a move.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really check.
I guess we could go back. The Bulldogs only have 5 moves, so maybe I'll go back and dig into that a little bit. But yes, he's got some work to do. His team is hit by buys. No Ridley, no Engram, no Montgomery, no 49ers defense, no Denver defense. Meanwhile, the Polecats have 0 players on bye this week. We have the full strength of our team going after him. The Polecats continue to be extremely consistent. The Destroyers and the Bulldogs got their big scores of the week. The Polecats just kept it the same. I mean, here's their scores since week 4. 127, 120, 128, 116, 122. I haven't dipped below 116 since week 3, so it's been very, very consistent. Hopefully we can keep that going. When you look at the sad state of the Nintenpoops this week and the full force of the Polecats, I just have to pick the Polecats.
Yeah, definitely going to pick the Polecats because also I am assuming that Sam will either forget or he'll look and go, man, I got to make some moves real fast, and then absolutely
just grab whatever he can.
Yeah, forget about it.
Well, here's the thing. Sam's not going to do a bunch of research into who he should pick up. And there's, first of all, not many tight ends out there either. Maybe he could swing a trade for Laporta. But it's been a long time, though, since Sam has left players open. The first couple of years Sam was on the fantasy, he would routinely just leave open players and was bad. This is back in the ESPN days. And then he got really, really good for 4 or 5 years, and now he's kind of borderline not so good.
Yeah, I mean, part of it was he auto drafted, and we also weren't as good at fantasy football back then either. So
no, for sure. But everybody should pick the Polecats this week.
Most likely everybody will. All right, next, let's go the McRibbed versus the Bulldogs.
All right. 4-4 versus 3-5. In week 2, he does have to put some things in. I think he's currently
got Gibbs. Gibbs is out.
He does have he doesn't have any running backs. He has Hill. Hill's the only running back he's got on the roster.
Yeah.
Or is his flex a running back right now? Nope. Hill is it. I don't know if that's someone he's going to want to put in.
Doubt it. A backup to the backup. So basically a third-string running back.
He holds on to Hill, honestly. These two teams met in week 2, and the Bulldogs won 130-109. The McRibs with the win here could pop into a sitting playoff spot. So there's definitely some good motivation here. As far as buys, it's not terrible. Definitely worse for the Bulldogs. They're without Gibbs, whereas you're only without Purdy. It looks like an uphill battle for the McRibs because he'll put somebody in there, I assume. And he's already projected to beat you even with an open slot.
Yeah.
Right now. But, I mean, honestly, one of these weeks, your team is going to hit everybody together.
Yeah, it seems like every week I have one guy that plays and everybody else doesn't. And one of these weeks, you'd assume that everybody, or at least some of my people, will all kind of
I know.
get a groove on.
I know Todd says nobody is owed a good score, but you have a pretty long stretch of not good scores right now, and I just feel like the chances of that stretching into like a 7th week is not very good. But I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't know if DJ Moore has Fields back. Moss is kind of, is he going to be the big guy or not? Hill, I mean, I think 2 is too low of projection for him.
No, it's against like Chicago, not the greatest defense.
Yeah, he's got a good matchup.
At home.
I think they're going to
have to assume. I know he is questionable. I did notice that after I picked him up, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's got some hip injury apparently now.
Dealing with some hip issue. But it doesn't seem like he's just limited in practice, so I assume they'll just keep him.
Mm-hmm. Myers is a bit of kind of like Adams. How's he going to do with the new everything going on there? But he's been a very hot target there, so...
Chicago did get Montez Sweat. Yeah, they did get Montez Sweat.
Playoffs.
Trying to get... Montez Sweat isn't going to, I don't think he's going to... I think that's right.
Stop Taysom Hill.
I mean, you never know.
So it's hard to tell. This one is actually, I think, difficult to say. Once Todd puts in a running back, he's going to be projected to beat you by like 15 points. Mm-hmm. But all of your wins have been from an underdog position. And I think your projection is low.
I think so too.
I did put that I'm going to pick the Bulldogs until the McRibs prove. But I would not begrudge someone for picking the McRibs this week. But I'll pick the Bulldogs.
All right. That's fine. I mean, I picked McRibs. I picked myself. I actually do feel confident because I think I am under projected, and I think my dad is so like he could score 150 points and he can score 80.
Yep.
Like it's kind of a little bit of everything.
Not yet. He has not yet this year had 3 games in a row of over 100. So
I'm expecting Butker to have a 20+ point game this week.
I think you can count on Butker. I think Kansas City Miami is going to be a very interesting game.
I think I'm going to count on Butker. So I picked myself. So next is the one everybody's been waiting for: the Tharsis Jackals versus the Doge Destroyers. I mean,
Master versus Apprentice.
It's the 2 people that are watching here. Make your case, gentlemen. Make your case as to why you think you'll be the winner. It's a pretty close projection.
So they met in week 2, and the Jackals got the win with 112 to 105. Mm-hmm. I think both of these teams are going to top their projections. Mm-hmm. With one caveat, I'm not convinced that Waddle and Mostert are going to do amazing against Kansas City defense.
I think they're going to struggle.
And if they struggle, then his score could be held down. And obviously Kupp would have to do something he hasn't been doing for a while. And I don't think the Destroyers are going to pop off another 150. The Jackals are trying to snap a 2-game losing streak and snap Alex's 4-game winning streak. The Destroyers are without Etienne Laporta. The Jackals are without Ayuk, who I don't think they've really been using anyway. I think the buys hit the Destroyers harder. If the Jackals have one of their up weeks, they should be able to win. Let's see what they're saying.
Well, this is a Miami team. I realized also this is the Miami team that is also playing. They're playing in Germany this week.
Oh, this is Germany this week.
So it's a neutral site, not a home game for both teams. Jet lag, so that usually affects offenses pretty.
Well, the last thing the Kansas City offense needed was jet lag after last week.
Well, I think it usually affects both offenses, so
Yeah.
I could see them having a little bit of a lower scoring game.
I heard the entire Rhine Fire team will be in attendance.
The Rhine Fire team.
You go back to what Madden 2007 or 2006 or whatever, and you could play as the European teams.
Oh yeah,
Fire and, Mundstart Galaxy or something.
Oh, that's right. That's good. That's good. And KC's been struggling, but I mean
they struggled for 1 week.
Miami hasn't been like
not
necessarily like being all otherworldly either.
That's it's a tough pick here, I think.
I wouldn't oh man. I'm surprised that I don't know if I'd go with Kansas City's defense. I don't want to talk him out of putting in Cleveland.
Well, he just picked up Cleveland today.
Not London, I know. It's in Germany. Oh. Team that gets overseas. Is Swift going to be there? What do you mean Swift? Going to be where?
Do they let the team that's the home team get there earlier, I'm assuming?
Was Swift, did he get traded? No.
Would have heard about that, right?
Oh, Taylor Swift. You can see how much I care about that crap. No, she's not there. She's on. According to my wife, she is basically will be attending very many more games because she is officially on tour now. So,
I heard she changed some of the tour dates to line up with where Kansas City.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty
Suddenly
sure.
We're going to be playing in DC this week, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, there is something to that. Well, maybe it was just what I was feeling at the time. I think this one could be a bit of a coin flip, and it should be the game of the week, I think. But I was just feeling Josh to take down the Destroyers.
Interesting choice.
Not bench Kelsey.
Ooh, do I pick up Alex? Do I break the streak? The big question. It's the big question. I need some feedback here, guys. As one's in chat, guys. One's in chat for Josh, or two's for Alex. No, I'm just kidding.
Smiley faces for Josh.
I'm not a Twitch streamer. Josh probably is gonna win. Probably though.
It's tough. I could talk myself out of Josh by thinking the two Miami guys don't do amazing, but he's got Hill on the other side, although Hill is kind of impervious to bad performances. So
Tyreek Hill, I rest my case. He does have Tyreek Hill. CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb's playing Philadelphia, and they typically do not play well against Philadelphia. And so, like, basically, Alex, you are ride or die right now with the Cowboys. So, like, if the Cowboys really stink it up against Philly's defense, you're going to lose. But the same thing goes with Josh.
So you're one and you're two.
Same thing goes with Josh. If the Miami Dolphins stink it up against Kansas City, he might lose. My lineup is not set yet. 2. Like a check. Philly has allowed a lot to receivers. Have they? First? Philadelphia has given up the most to this fantasy. Wow, interesting. All right. Although I don't believe in matchups. I've seen the scientific evidence. I don't believe it.
Oh, he's going to bench Model or Mostert. All right.
Well, Mostert's technically questionable with an ankle. You throw Bijan in there and run him against Minnesota.
Gotta make your pick, Dave.
All right, I gotta pick. I gotta go with my gut here and pick Alex. Sorry, Josh, can't pick for you. It's just it's tradition it's legitimately tradition at this point. So I just cannot. I may change it. I got till tomorrow. We'll see. All right, last one: the Fighting Fergals versus the White Lightning. This could be the fight for the bottom here.
Could be if the White Lightning lose.
Jordan straight up just has an empty defense, no defense whatsoever.
If the White Lightning lose,
you must be watching.
And the Fergals win by at least 40 points, it's possible that the Fergals could pop into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they had to win by a lot in order to do it. Let me switch here to the
Jordan's got kill.
All right, so yeah, week 2 they played each other. White Lightning won 115-96, but he's on a 4-week losing streak. No Kittle, no McCaffrey to bail him out. No Samuel. Will Adams do any better? He's got a lot of questions on his team, aside from just not having defense either right now. Presumably he'll put in the Leans defense.
I'd assume.
Match against Chicago, but so that would be 9 projected points there. But still, there's just a lot of quacks there. It's not like Aaron Jones has been lighting things up. Tagovailoa could be having troubles against Kansas City. You know, I could see him getting a sub 100 game. I think this is going to be a low scoring game. I could see this being a game where both teams are under 100. Can the Fergal team bounce back? They have no Kirk, no St. Brown, no Williams. I don't think he's using Williams, but
no, Williams hasn't been really
he's got an open bench spot too.
No, that's only because Jordan has benched his defense without replacing it. So it's making this like 7-person bench.
I expect, like I said, a low-scoring game, and I think the Fergals will get lucky again with a low score and get another win. So I'm going to go with the Fergals getting 3 wins in a row after 6 losses.
I also am going to pick Kara. So it seems like everybody's picking Kara at this point.
I know you're picking against the part. That's good enough for me.
It's like I'm picking for you anyways, Josh. All right.
You picking the Fergals?
I am.
It's just, second week, third week, we were talking about the White Lightning as a potential powerhouse that we're going to just run through this league. And has been tells you how much you know in the beginning, really. I thought the Polecats were going to suck too after the first couple of weeks, but
yeah, it sometimes takes a little bit, but I like how Alex was like really bummed that he didn't pick, and instead of picking, he hasn't picked yet. So it looks like Josh is pretty much picking exactly with you, Chuck. So whatever you guys do,
they're good picks.
All I know is if Alex wins and I win, and I will be catching up to you guys.
So I welcome the challenge. If the Destroyers and or Polecats win this week, I think that pretty much seals them in the playoffs. 7 wins is my magic number, I think, to get a playoff spot this year. It's not necessarily official, but I think that should theoretically get them a playoff spot. Although it would be unfortunate to go into the playoffs on some big losing streak.
I mean, that'd be tough, but it would be unlikely, I'd assume.
So
I am looking right now. I have got to be getting close to a record for, like, in the recent history anyways, of least points for.
Well, here's the thing. I was looking at records and seeing if any of these things are close to being set, and this season has been very average. There's nothing even approaching many records here other than your dad potentially getting the most defensive points or something weird like that. The least amount of points scored for a year is currently 1,425, set by Todd in 2018. And the lowest for a 17-game season was set last year by Jordan. Now that could be broken since we only have 1 year. But are you on pace for that? What do you got here?
I'm at 768.83 in 8 games.
Divided by 8 would be that times a full. Well, I guess 14. We'll say. No.
Yeah, it's 14-game season, right?
Well, yeah, you are on pace to beat that record right now. Yes.
1,345.
But here's the thing. Things get changed this year because 4 teams aren't going to play the same number of games. 4 teams are going to play a full 17 games. 2 are going to play only 14 games, and 2 are going to play 16 games. And so all of a sudden, record numbers for full season are going to be like
statistician's nightmare.
Thrown out there. So, but I do keep records for regular season and otherwise. Now, this just brings our current regular season in line with the same length that used to be before the NFL extended the schedule.
Sure.
But so it does change some things there. I used to always count full season records as well, but those are kind of useless at this point.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll figure out a way to deal with it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I got through Tankgate. I can get through this.
Well, we've surprisingly, this little win streak that Kara's on has kept her from tanking, I should say, because I think that was her original plan, was to just put in a bunch of people that are injured because she just wants the first round pick. But I really do think she has a chance to put up some she's always in the top 4 for her projections. It's so crazy. Her projections are always so high. It's just she's kind of got in the shaft, usually just getting beat down by a team.
I mean, honestly, man, even if we just had the 4-team playoffs, she'd still be very much in the hunt.
Yeah.
At this point. So there's
we're all kind of in the hunt right now. There's no really we're all kind of even. So
yeah, I would agree. Been a tight year. There's no runaways in either direction right now.
Nope.
So we got big week 9 coming up.
Yeah, it's exciting. Should be good. I'll be at the Packer game.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I think Jordan and I will be there. So
cool.
As long as everything goes to plan, we should
win.
Who'd you play? Godwin over Flowers in flex? Man, I don't know. I shouldn't give you even. I feel like, well, I guess you're playing Josh. Doesn't matter. I mean, I think that's a horse apiece, really.
Take Godwin. He's a little more consistent than Flowers, I think, but not 100%.
Flowers, man, I really haven't even been paying attention. Yeah, Godwin's got the higher upside. Plus, they're playing Houston, and Houston stinks. That's what I would do. You could do Madison. Nah, he stinks. Yeah. That's what I would do. But, I also am a 3-5 record, so you may not want to listen to my advice. You got any other last thoughts?
Just be interesting to see how the Raiders do this week.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting. I'm very curious how the Raiders.
They said that. What's his name? Guess I can't think of it. McDaniels. Josh McDaniels is the first person in NFL history to be fired twice before the end of a second year. Coach. So I would think it's safe to say that he is done getting head coach, especially after leaving the Colts at the altar as well.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a offensive coordinator somewhere for life now.
You can come to the Packers. We need an offensive coordinator. Come to the Packers.
We just need experience.
Yeah, we do. Well, we need experience, and we need a different. We need offensive coaches that aren't like Matt LaFleur. You need different perspectives, and right now he's just surrounded by little mini clones of himself. So he gets no differing, no pushback, no nothing, and he's a Belichickian, not a Shanahanian. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of a different perspective. Doubt it'll ever happen because the Packers don't do smart things lately, but we'll see.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Moment next week.
Yeah, we'll hopefully no big injuries, no blown Achilles.
Good luck to everyone except Sam.
Yeah, and whoever I'm facing, I forgot. I don't even remember who I'm facing. And Todd. I don't want Todd to win. All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.